The UK is taking action, so when are we going to see the same thing here on this side of the big pond? Join me now to discuss is the president of Strellmark LLC, Hillary Fordwich. Hillary, good to see you this evening. So first of all, your take on these arrests that are happening in the UK.
Well, pleasure to be back with you again, Todd, although ghastly circumstances here. What I would say is, yes, I've heard really much here in the US of people saying, look, they're making all these arrests in the UK. Why aren't we doing the same here in the US? What's happened is, as Ollie gave a great report there, these arrests have been, obviously, Mandelson is 72 years old. He's had to resign before because of his links to Epstein. And what this particular charge is the same charge as former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the misconduct in public office. But what's different is what they were actually alleged to have done. Now, Peter Mandelson was supposed to have actually given sort of the whisper to and passed emails to, and there's documentation to Jeffrey Epstein regarding the EU, regarding different assets, and after the 2008 financial crash, an inside internal study in the British government as to maybe the selling off of different assets. So he was given very highly privileged information, and then Mandelson passed it on to Epstein, which of course is basically actually, it's treasonous, it's high treason, and there is a penalty and a sentence that could be life in prison. So he's gone from a lord to sitting in a prison cell this evening. He was arrested at 5:45 p.m. UK time, and so he basically is going to be spending the night because he can be held overnight in a prison cell to answer questions.
Well, we understand there's been some emails that have just been released from the Justice Department that showed just how deep Mandelson and Epstein's relationship was. This was after Epstein was released from jail in 2009. He actually emailed the ambassador, and here, if we can check this out on the screen here, free and home, how shall we celebrate, Mandelson asked, and Epstein replied, with grace and modesty. Those are the names of two strippers. Why in the world would a sitting cabinet minister send those kinds of text messages to a convicted sex offender?
Right, you're right. A convicted sex offender, pedophile, and Lord Mandelson is a gay man. So I don't know which gender even those strippers were and what was going on. No, it's really debauchery at the highest level and really despicable and disgusting. And like with regard to Andrew, former Prince Andrew, one of the things that he has been investigating about is with regard to all the massages and other charges that he put through to the British taxpayer. So both of them are being investigated and questioned, Todd, about a variety of subjects. And with regard to Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, it is also the trafficking of young women he's alleged to have had brought in on Epstein's jets, private jets, to airports like Stansted Airport. So I know the Essex police are looking into that. So Mandelson, likewise, they're searching his home, as Ollie Barrett reported, in Windsor, which is in Wiltshire, and this home in Camden, which is in North London, very close to Regent's Park, really sort of a swanky area to live in. That's being thoroughly searched. And I think what my prediction, Todd, is we're going to find a lot of other information being revealed, revolting revelations probably coming out.
Yeah, this is all pretty disgusting, sick stuff. And again, I'm one of those who believes we got to put it all out there, transparency here, and people who did wrong, they need to be held accountable no matter who they are. This kind of stuff has to be stopped.
Yes, I will say so. And I would say huge credit, by the way, a name that isn't being talked about much this side of the Atlantic. Andrew Lowney wrote a book called Entitled, and he reveals a lot of this. Actually, I believe that book was released about a year ago, and Todd, nothing was really done. It's amazing that it's happening now. I actually wonder why the timing, and if this is a deflection from Sir Keir Starmer, the current Labour Prime Minister, but this was a lot of it was in Andrew Lowney's book, and he went through a lot of pressure, financial pressure. I believe he had to take out a mortgage on his home, and people were instructed not to speak to him. He was given a lot of societal pressure to keep quiet, but everything basically he stated in his book has come true. It's a book I'd highly recommend, Entitled.
You mentioned Starmer because he acknowledged earlier this month that he knew about Mandelson's relationship with Epstein. How do you think this is going to play for him?
Well, yes, he's got a sticky wicket, as they would say in the UK here, with regard to the cricket game when you're not in a very good position. He also, it's not just this. This is going to literally, I would say, Todd, be compounded on top of everything else. Like he's made various U-turns politically, so he's basically a laughing stock politically in the UK. His polling numbers are at the lowest of any prime minister ever, and of course, with the small boat migrant crisis, which is for our American audience, that's analogous to our invasion at the southern border here. You've got all these illegals coming into the UK, so he's extremely unpopular. This is, I think, could be deflection on his part, but it pretty much is going to be one of the things that, added on top of all those other things I just mentioned, could sink him.
Well, as disgusting as it is, we're just going to keep piling on here, Hillary. I want to get your take on these reports that Epstein secretly stashed computers, photos, other materials in storage units all across the United States, and even paid private investigators to move these items around. Do you think we're ever going to know where those files are located?
Well, I'm like you. I would like full transparency, and all I can say is I hope so. I don't know the answer to that. I will say that Epstein is an extremely intelligent man. It's very sad that he chose to focus his intellect in such areas of debauchery and despicable behavior. But he's a smart man, so he was a smart man. So I believe it's going to be very difficult to uncover everything. He tried to cover it up, and I think he did a pretty good job of that for a very long time. But I think what's going to happen, it's going to be the domino effect. You're going to have people talking, and there's going to be a lot more revolting revelations.
Well, a sticky wicket indeed, Hillary. Always good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
You too, Todd. Thank you very much.